an agreement in the end. What do you think, in your analysis, what made these negotiations as protracted as they were?
Well, we cannot run away from the fact that we are in a very tough economic times. And SARS as an institution is not less affected by these economic factors. As you would know, that the grant that is allocated to SARS was cut almost in half, which basically means that SARS is shortcut in terms of meeting their obligation, including issues of salary benefits for their employees. So it was in a very unfortunate period in the history of negotiations. As you would know, that I don't even remember whether we have ever had a strike action in SARS. It was one of the first. But it is because of the very same economic situation that we find ourselves that our members went out and they were willing to go on strike because of they are feeling the pinch, they are feeling the pressure in terms of the cost of living that is forever rising. And we had no other alternative but to go on a strike action so that we can at least push the employer into understanding that we mean business by this. The suffering of our members cannot just be left unattended. And that is the reason why this particular wage negotiations took this long.
So, in other words, you're saying you understand the problem that they were confronted with. And the reason I'm asking, or started by asking this question, is because last week, in the heat of the moment, there were allegations that SARS management was intransigent and simply didn't care. So you're now saying, no, actually, you understand where they were coming from, but it's just that you too, as workers, are faced with, workers are faced with their own challenges.
Well, that is, maybe I need to put it into perspective. Our understanding is the whole economic circumstances, that we understand. But the mere fact that SARS failed when the grant was taken, failed to go to Treasury and explain to Treasury the implication of them taking away this grant, that in itself is their failure. Now, we were not going to be sympathetic to them because of they are afraid of Minister Tito Mboweni. That becomes their problem. All that we knew is that at least there was money in SARS to meet our demands. The mere fact that they've surrendered that for whatever reason, it cannot be our fault. And that is why our members felt that we are going to go all the way. We are going to force SARS to listen to us and to go back and get this money. As they've consistently said, they don't have money. Where did they get the money? I'm sure they went back to Treasury and say, you know what, the country is going to burn. It's going to go bust if this strike continues. Give us back some of that grant. And that is how we managed to get to this resolution.
Okay, so an 8% wage increase. Explain to our viewers the long-term service award amount that is also part of the deal, as well as the 8 days prenatal and vaccination leave.
Yes. The agreement is twofold. One, I must mention that SARS initially wanted to link this salary increment to performance. That is something that we fought, now is off the table. It's not linked to performance, meaning that every employee of SARS that falls within the bargaining unit will get 8% for year one. Year two, SARS was saying CPI plus 1%. That also has fallen off. They've increased their offer to CPI, projected CPI. Remember, CPI and projected CPI are two figures. Projected CPI is mostly higher than the CPI that the public servants are getting. So they are getting more, plus 2%. So that in itself, it was part of our demand to say that if you want a 3-year agreement, you are going to pay for it. It's not just going to come on a silver platter. This CPI plus 1, we are not going to take it. If you want 3 years, you are going to give us what we deserve. And they came back, they gave us exactly that, which is far much higher. And the other demands that we've put on the table, obviously, long service. These are employees with skills. These are employees who have served the institution for a long period of time. Surely there must be some form of recognition. And that recognition is not something substantial. It's just to say that, you know what, for this period, here is a gift for you for having served the SARS with distinction. That's all that we were saying. The issue of vaccination, that is very important, because we all know that, especially our customs official, they are at the border gate and they come in contact with a lot of people, and sometimes they pick up diseases and it costs not only them money, but it also costs SARS a lot of money, because they have to be off duty in order to heal. So what do? You prevent that. But because of they're doing it on behalf of SARS, we felt that it must be the responsibility of SARS to vaccinate these employees, and they've agreed to do that.
Now, when I spoke to you last week, you said you were together with Nehao on this, but as late as a few minutes ago, before I came on air, we spoke to them and they say they are not accepting this agreement.
Yes. Well, collective bargaining is a very complex and complicated process, because it's all about the wishes of the constituents that you represent. And I'm sure that Nehao's rejection, I haven't been told that they've rejected this. What I've been told is that they are busy mandating their members, because we've been on this together throughout. And this is why we managed to achieve what we've achieved, because we're speaking from the same hymn sheet. But when coming to mandating, every union has its own constituency. We went to our constituent, and the reason why we were able to get this mandate so quickly, we have got quite an efficient system of interaction with our members. We just went to our members and said, this is a new offer. What is your position? You want us to accept it or to reject it? And by 3 o'clock, about 2 o'clock this afternoon, majority of our members, they said, we are happy with the revised offer. It's something that we can live with, and then you can sign it. So we signed the agreement as a majority union. The agreement has full force and effect, so it will be implemented from the 1st of April 2019.